Good morning, Chunky Captain here. Today we are at Westminster, where we're going to be walking from Westminster Bridge all the way up to Tower Bridge. So, welcome and let's see how it goes. Well, here we are approaching Westminster Bridge, and up ahead we have the Elizabeth Tower, sometimes nicknamed Big Ben, but that's just referring to the bell which is at the top of it. It's actually called the Elizabeth Tower, part of the Palace of Westminster. On our left we have Portcullis House, which is an extension of the House of Parliament, where a lot of meetings take place, Member of Parliament, Lords. And just below our feet, where we're standing now, just over here, there's actually a tunnel between the two. I've walked in it just there where my shadow is. So it's a nice tunnel only for visitors, MPs, Lords, Prime Ministers, etc. Let's carry on. Here we are, just crossing Westminster Bridge now. And the bridge we're standing was built 1820s, 1830s. Before there was another bridge which was also temporary, replacing an old medieval bridge. So you can see the history of this area, extremely rich. Let's keep on walking. We're walking that way towards Tower Bridge, eastbound if you want to be more precise, eastbound towards Tower Bridge.
They've all been very lovely.
Well, there's the head of the Ministry of Defence, and we can see it flying quite a few flags. That looks like, I don't know what that one is. We've got the Union flag, the NATO flag over there. We've got the Ukraine flag, British flag again, British flag again, and we've got the RAF on the far back. In the middle, trying to figure out what that is, if it flies straight, and on the front I believe is the Navy. That's probably the Army there, so RAF, British Army, and the naval flag at the front. It is the Army flag. I am here on the Southbank, where I'm walking from Westminster Bridge down there all the way to Tower Bank down there, taking some of London's most beautiful landmarks in, along the way to seeing Parliament, St Paul's, the Tower of London. St Paul's just behind me over there somewhere, there we are. And it reminds us of the centuries of history that shaped this beautiful city. See, history is important because remembering it keeps us grounded. It teaches us the lessons that we take for tomorrow. And you see, walking itself is more than just sightseeing. It's health. Our calves are often called the second heart of the body. Every step helps pump blood back to the heart, improving the circulation, keeping us strong. Simply by moving, we are investing in our well-being. So to finalise, walking connects the body, the mind and the spirit. Whatever we do it for health, for reflection or for faith, it's one of the simplest yet most powerful things we can do. So let's go. Here we are on London Beach. Here we are, London Beach, just outside St Paul's. Going for a little walk before the tide comes in. Just imagine the amount of history that is on this beach in the River Thames. More than 2,000 years of history. They've found everything, really everything here. It's incredible. Continue walking. Shame I can't go on for long. The beach ends there.
Anything under 3,000.
Lots of runners, look at them. They're disturbing my walk. But here I am, just outside the Shard. Look at that, beautiful. 66 floors, 300 and something meters tall. What an incredible feat of engineering. And hopefully it stands tall for many years to come. Here I am, just outside HMS Belfast. It was a light cruiser which served during the Second World War and during the Korean War, and it's now been turned into a museum here on the River Thames. And here's my midway point, Tower Bridge. Well guys, here we are at Tower Bridge, one of London's most iconic landmarks. Completed in 1894, it's a masterpiece of beautiful Victorian engineering. The bridge itself is a combined bascule suspension bridge using big counterweights, and those big giant arms in the middle, they can lift up and down in just 5 minutes to allow the big tall ships to pass through the centre. But it's not just an engineering marvel, it's also history. This was built to ease traffic while keeping the river open for trade, symbolising London's growth during the industrial age. And today, over 40,000 people cross it daily. And I'm going to be one of those 40,001. This is proof that 19th century innovation still serves the city today in the 21st century. Welcome to Tower Bridge. What a beautiful bridge. Very beautiful indeed. Here we are at the Tower of London, and this is 900 years old, actually nearly 1,000 years old, built by William the Conqueror starting in 1078 to secure his power after the Norman invasion, and over the centuries it has served as a palace, a fortress, a prison, and even a zoo. Famous figures like Anne Boleyn, Sir John Moore were also held here, executed, and today it's very special because it guards the crown jewels, the crown and the special jewels of the king, formerly the late Queen. What a beautiful building it is. What I didn't know was that this was a bit of wetlands. Seems the Tower of London is trying to diversify, and just look at that wall. No wonder it's such a fortress for 1,000 years. On this side of the wall here we could see some newer residences. So these are actually the residences of the Tower of London guards, nicknamed the Beefeaters. They've actually lived here since the 14th century, and some of the houses do date back that far. Some you can see probably from the 19th century, but it's incredible to see how history just hasn't changed for 100 years here. They're really looking after the heritage of the Tower of London. Let's carry on walking. Just standing here just after crossing Tower Bridge, and just in front of the HMS Belfast we see this large cruise luxury looking ship, and this is called the La Leparus, I hope I said that right, and it's the first of the Ponant Explorers class luxury exhibition cruise ships. And this was built in 2018, so it's not old, but it was built for destination intensive voyages to very remote areas, polar regions. It's got a very big and reinforced hull, and it can offer up to 184 passengers luxury travel. It's got a spa, it's got the lounges and really, really luxury places indeed. Here we are, just across from the HMS Belfast, and we have this house here. This is Custom House, and this has served as the head of the customs. Everything has brought here into the UK since the 14th century, obviously with the River Thames being such a trade hub right until probably the mid 20th century, when container ships started coming. They get too big for this not so big river, and it's still considered there. This building here is actually here since the 18th century, but it's nice to see such lovely architecture still remaining, and I believe it's still the offices for customs here in the UK. Just look at the mixture of architecture. Big blue tower block full of windows right next to it. The old 18th century, looks like some sort of customs house. And then across the river we've got the same thing. Brand new buildings, old buildings, brand new buildings, old buildings, brand new building and old building. And this is the beauty of London. You've got so much rich history here, and you'll be able to see all sorts. So keep a good lookout, look for signs, not for what you can see. And if you need to, come for a little tour with Ali. Chunky Captain. Well, here we are, just at the entrance to the City of London, as you can see by St George's Cross and the Dragon. And we come across this, and this, they say, is actually a cannon. So what happened after the Battle of Waterloo, they said there was too many excess cannons, so they put a cannonball in there and made it into a bollard. I don't know if that's a myth, but some are real, some are imitation. So if you do, look out for them, and you've earned some points. We're back on the other side of the river now. We are on Embankment, so from Blackfriars Bridge just behind towards Embankment. And look what we have here, a police public call post. First you thought it might be something off Doctor Who, but this is actually public call points. There's one here, I know there's one in Trafalgar Square as well. This is where bobbies, do we say, early police officers, they didn't have mobile phones and radios. They were be able to actually call for help, assistance, etc. So that's not in use at the moment, but it stood there as a monument. And just speaking of a monument, we're now passing a World War I and World War II war memorial to the sailors who died during that time. Like I said, if you've seen my video about Muslims, they've also sacrificed greatly. 2.5 million Muslims fought during the First World War and the Second World War, and over 400,000 of them gave their lives. So when people say lest we forget, we should not forget those brothers and those people who died innocently fighting against fascism. Passing the RNLI, the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, here on Embankment. And why I bring it up, you can see some of the boats there. This is where they're based. Why I bring this up is for a very important reason. Small boats, migrant boats, smuggles across the channel is obviously a hot topic right now, and I'm not going to touch on that. But one thing which I'm quite keen on, and what I like to do, is it doesn't matter what colour, what religion we are, we're all human beings. And the RNLI have promised, they said if they see anyone in the channel, no matter who they are, a life will be saved. And I like what they've done. They haven't tried to label anyone or anything. They've taken politics, they've taken personal beliefs out of it, and they've said that a life is a life, and they said they will save everyone. Here we are on the Victoria Embankment, and next to me is this, an obelisk from Egypt. what's famous about this is named Cleopatra's Needle, and it's actually 3,500 years old. And what's special about it is not only the age, and here from Egypt is here in the UK, is how it got here. In 1870s they put it on a boat and they said, alright, we're going to take it to London along with a lot of other stuff they took from Egypt. And what's even special is that boat sank, so they because it was too heavy. So what they did is they put it on another boat, took it up from the water, and then 1880s, 1870s they put it up here on Victoria Embankment, and here it stood today, guarded by Sphinx lions of some sort. Again, the old and the new. This is a very famous person. His name is Sir Joseph Bazalgette. They call him the engineer of the London main drainage system out of this embankment. You know what's special about Mr. Bazalgette? I've been to his grave in Kensal Green, Kensal Rise Cemetery. What was very special about him is when he designed the sewer system for London, he said, oh no, we've got to make it double the diameter it is already. People said, why would you double it? We don't need that much. But if he didn't do that, today we would be swimming in sewage. So that's what's special about it. He was thinking ahead. He was knowing the expansion of London was going to happen, and he did something about it. And today they're still working for us today. Old Victorian sewers and drainage systems still working today for us here in London. I'm just outside the MOD building here, and we've got a monument to the Fleet Air Arm. And if you don't know what the Fleet Air Arm is, it's actually a part of the Navy, and what it does is it deals obviously the aviation part of the Navy. I think it used to be called the Fleet Air Arm because back in the day there wasn't an official air force, especially during the First World War, so that all came in after. There's a lovely museum down in Yeovilton just next to Arnaz, Royal Naval Air Station Yeovilton, and if you want to go, great place to visit. See all the different helicopters and gliders and aircraft used by the Fleet Air Arm. Just speaking of monuments, we have a monument here to the Korean War and the Iraq War there, and Afghanistan by the looks of it. Here we are, Afghanistan and Iraq. Two wars, very, very, very difficult. You know, 1 million people died in Iraq, so it's a sad time and devastation to the country as well as Afghanistan, but I'm not going to go into politics. It's a difficult one at the most. And the last thing we've come up before where I park, this is New Scotland Yard. And what's famous about New Scotland Yard? We've got the nice revolving sign here. New Scotland Yard is actually not so much New Scotland Yard, this is New Scotland Yard. This was the place, the original place where Scotland Yard used to be, and then they moved towards Trafalgar Square and they called that New Scotland Yard. Then they moved back to here again, so New Scotland Yard. But they're not going to put that in the name because it sounds a bit weird. We can call it New Cube Scotland Yard. But I've been in there. I was there on the top floor where I had a Eid party with the commissioner, police commissioner, Mr. Mark Rowley, I think his name was, Sir Mark Rowley, off the top of my head. Very nice inside there. Well, here we are, coming to the end of our walk, just outside Westminster Abbey and the Palace of Westminster. There's so many places we didn't see, so many places I didn't talk about, but it's only a short video and I'm here to walk and show you some of the main sites, some of the things that interest me. If you don't know these red police cars, they are armed police, so they just park here. They're probably based in the Palace of Westminster. But I think I've done about 14 kilometres today. I think it was mainly meant to be about 9.5, but I don't know what I did. But I'm just here because I parked just behind Westminster Abbey. If you don't know, that's a great place to park your car. Special permit, you know. Wink. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching, Chunky Captain, and I'll see you on the next one.